Welcome back. This is still Oxygen 96.9 FM, the only radio station that keeps you informed, inspired, and of course, ignited. And I have been playing you those brand new songs that are already living rent free in our heads. I'm talking about the new Tenny and Chike single. They call that one Wura Muya. Of course, I've also been playing you the new Davido singles, a featured number 11 on that one called Gimme That. And before that, I also played you the new song from Black Bones, Major AJ, and Noon Dave. They called that one Tonight. I've been playing you all those bangers, but that's not the only reason we are here today. Today, I'm going to be introducing us to someone who can actually inspire us. This is a man who has a lot of talent. I'm talking about none other than Olumide Showumi. He does outreaches, he makes poetry, pottery, painting, sculpting, singing. Like, are you a person or a creative agency? And before we kick off, I always like to get people's backstory. Your origin story. Because if you see Spider-Man, they say Spider-Man's origin story that he was bitten by a radioactive spider. What radioactive spider bit you to make you so multi-talented? Where did this all start from? Where was it? What pushed you to be this person that has so many hobbies, so many skills, so many talents? How did you become this person?
Well, I am happy to be in this studio, baby, if you'll allow me to say that.
Welcome.
This is Oxygen Studio FM, that's 96.9. We are really glad you're here in Ibadan. We know and we hear people talking of they are the best, but I want to tell you that you are the best of the best. The reason being that this is oxygen you're giving life. Those days when we're studying biology and all of that, we remember that when you talk about oxygen, for instance, that is life. If you are sick in the hospital, if you're losing your life, they need to put life into you. They just fix the cylinder, put the stuff in you, and you're living. So you've given the city a good life. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
and
much.
I'm glad to meet you today, DEBOLA.
It's a pleasure, sir.
Rastafari, I like your style. I like your
mine.
style of here. So
Thank
back
you.
to your question. I hail from Abeokuta.
Okay.
I'm Olumide Showumi, born by my late father now, Adekunle Showumi and Adebanke Showumi. And the two of them, they lived for long as civil servants. But my father, funny enough, had been a very serious football enthusiast. And apart from his work with Nitel those days, he was also a referee for years. I have loads of pictures of people like Rotimi Williams, that Western region days when my father was on the football pitch, refereeing matches and all that. I followed him to fields once in a while, those days. So that was the way I started. Then my mother sings. My father, he can sing, but he doesn't really have flair for it, But our household, myself, my sisters, you see all of us singing, chorusing together at home, particularly church songs and all that. Then, and what you ask about how I found it, I don't know. Like somebody said, you just look into your wrist and you found it.
Oh, really?
I think my mother had a lot of problem before she had me. I happened to be the only son.
Oh, okay.
And before then, when they pray and they are looking forward and they have 1 or 2 years before having, maybe that's how I came about it. I don't know. Because she said she dreamt and she was assured that this one that is coming is loaded. She told me, this one that is coming is loaded. Sincerely speaking, till today, my wife will always tell me, where do you draw your strength from? Where do you draw your strength from? So
And you really are loaded. Like, I want to know, like, when you start your day on Monday,
right.
how do you decide what to do? Because I feel like I have a similar problem. I'm also someone who has a lot of skills. I have a lot of things I can pick up and do, interest and all that.
Right.
How do you decide what to do? When do you decide that, it's a poem I want to write today? When you decide that, today I want to spend my day in the studio, drawing, painting? How do you pick?
Right. I must tell you this. We have spirits, we have forces behind the scene. We are not just acting here. I believe that. Over the years, I've seen that I'm not just this young man or this Olumide Showumi you're looking at. Because you take somebody who is really on something intoxicating to do things I do, and I don't do that. I just say I wake up in the morning. Once I set my feet on the floor, 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock, I get on board just writing poetry. If that's what I write, Yoruba poems, I write English poems. I just flow. I just flow round the clock from morning till night. You don't see me sitting idle or anything. Then I inspire people because I don't know. The thing is just that I can't explain it. That's
Fair
just
enough.
I know providence is
No,
behind the
I
scene.
know it happens where
Right.
you just follow your own calling.
Yeah.
You don't really look for anybody for look to
At
anyone
all.
for direction.
At all.
You
Right
know,
from childhood.
and I find it interesting. You said your dad is a referee, and I know the typical story of a Nigerian child is you look at your parents for examples.
Right.
You look at your parents as, okay, these are the people who are telling me what to do. Most people would even pass down their skills to their children.
Right.
If your dad is a carpenter, they
Right.
expect that they will teach you in those ways.
Right.
What was it like when you were growing up? How did your parents take your interest, or should I say lack of interest, in their own careers and crafts, and then your own interest in what you were doing? What made you special?
Yeah, our home, maybe because I happen to be the only son. My parents are so liberal. They are open to everything. There are people that had their school days with people like Wale Soyinka, with the Kutis, in Abeokuta. So their exposure helped them. They never really restrained or questioned me. As a matter of fact, before I got into arts and all that, we were living somewhere around Salvation Army Kutedo, where people like Uncle Bola grew up. Good, strong people from of this country. They lived around that area. Good number of them. And you see clay around that area, the riverine side. You pick clay, swampy side. You see people farming. So today I'm also a farmer. I farm.
Wow.
There's hardly any morning before setting out to even speak English anywhere. You see me, I would have gone into my farm, and I like pets. I have animals, and I have flowers. You
Wow.
understand? So, if I'm to answer your question, they never really disturbed me. They encouraged me all the way. My father and my mother. Then again, when I was young, I used to make cage, and I do different kinds of things, which led me into design. So when I make cage, I catch birds, I sell birds, 5 naira then, and I go to the bookshop here because I don't want to go into that. I went to Ibadan Boys High School, where you feel
Okay.
notorious boys were, but we're one of the best set of people that really came out of the place. So you see Papa Ulawo arriving, people hailing him. So the inspiration to want to be great in life, the meaning of greatness will just dawn on you, and you just want to be somebody in life. Right?
I like that you touched on school, because that's where I was going to next.
Right.
After your parents, they
Right.
believed that your school would be the next place where
Right.
you would learn.
Right.
Now, would you say that you were encouraged to? You've already kind of mentioned that being in the school, you were looking at the examples you heard. You were encouraged to also be a great person.
Right.
But speaking specifically on art
Right.
and culture,
Okay.
because a lot of people would have gone from your school to be bankers or accountants.
Right.
You chose to go with your heart. You
Right.
followed your passion.
Right.
Something that you felt like you could do almost as a hobby.
Right.
What was it like, was there any factor then? I'm talking about when you were a child in
Right.
your secondary school,
Right.
primary school, maybe even university,
Right.
where you saw something that made you feel like, oh, arts is actually the direction I want to go, because it's in schools that we actually decide what we want for our future.
Right.
So was there a thing or a person in your school that just encouraged you and made you confident that this is what I want to do?
You see, during my childhood days, we listen to music. All around us, we have people playing music. You hear Yoruba songs, Ayinla Omowura and all of that. You hear programs on here where they talk about Akomoledi and all that. You see, there was a newspaper they were selling when I was young, the Democrat. They have a page for the arts then. That was when I first of all came in contact with Ladi Kwali, with people like Solomon Uwagoje, one notable Nigerian painter, Benuwowu, Bruce Onabrakwe, and all of them. Then, of course, I saw Western artists too. So when I was coming in contact with them, I felt, no, I love this. I was just feeling it deep down within me. Not any discussion with my parents that, oh, mom, I want to be. I never had that. Mom, I want to be this or that. They never told me be a doctor. But they saw in me that, look, you should be a lawyer because you have a good sense of judgment, you're balanced. Then with your horoscope, because then people believe so much in horoscope, and as a Sagittarius, if you as Sagittarius, if you check it up, you see that our sense of judgment is so serious that people will possibly want to hate you because of your directness. You just want to say it as it is. So those are the things. Around my area, we had clay. So I had access to clay. I was making pots. I had platforms. I was making cages and all that.
But
I was
like
doing different
you say
things.
you were making it, but
Yeah.
you must have had like an example, someone that was making it before you. Or
No,
you just saw
no,
clay on the
no
floor?
one before me. Now, the cage, not too far from my house, we had elderly people around Idioro area. I remember them. Those people, very aged people with little white beards, like those monks you have, in Asia. Now, they will be there making. So I look at it. I say, no, I like this, but I never stood with them. I never sat with them to learn. Once I see, like welding, I got to know about welding sculpture. I mean, figurines, sculptures, and all that. Making furniture, wrought iron chairs. I never went to anybody to teach me how to weld. I acquired my machine and I started it. So those are the things. Even sewing, I sew. This top you're looking at, just at yesterday, just run on it and I put it on.
And it looks really good.
Yeah,
like, well
thanks.
done.
And I put it on. My mother, so she had machine. So those are the areas. When it comes to, then they had a teacher for me when I was in Form 3. They got a teacher for me and I attempted GCE and I cleared all my papers, Form 3. So Form 4, they made me a prefect in school as a result of that. So by the time I got to Form 5, I mean, it was just good for me. So, I've been drawing, painting, and look at me. I do all these things with effortless ease. It's just, if you don't have passion for something, you're going to be messing up. You understand? So that's, I hope.
I really like how your answers. You're just telling me that this is just me. Like I was born this way,
Right.
and it's something that I envy. I imagine that a lot of our listeners are feeling that envy of I really wish I could do this. So, but it's the honest truth is some people are just born with that talent, with that gift, and I like that in your case they were able to recognize it and nurture it to allow you to grow to be this person, this creative.
They even bought me saws. I made furniture and all that. Right.
I'm so grateful for your parents. They helped us to get who you are today.
Right.
So our listeners who are parents who have children, if you realize that your children have skills, they have talents, things that they are passionate about, things that they do naturally without even being told to do it, they just have a flair for these things. Let's encourage it rather than discourage it. Or what do you think about how parents are raising their children these days?
It's really terrible. I have to tell you this. I meet with averagely like 2,600 children every week. In a month, I am very close to about 8,000, right? Because of our outreaches, show fest programs, and all of that with Toron. This month alone, I've covered 8 schools, and we've been supported and assisted by Educare Trust Nigeria. They're about the only one who is actually there that is supporting. Out here, you don't see people doing that. Now, parents are home these days. In fact, I think government too. I've been saying it. I have a passion to think of having a kind of school for geniuses, a place where you are not going to have more than 10 students that you really want to groom, and everything they see around them. Look, your building is next to none. I don't know. This oxygen building, I just want to bring something out of it. So I'm looking at a structure like this, not necessarily this modern. I'm looking at something crazily organic, something
culturally relevant.
Yeah, something natural. Yeah. And you have students, coming in that period to the class. And I'm not going to ask them to resume 8, 7. They can come in around 10, 9. They bring them and they want to go back home by 3 if they have people to take care of them, or we have a body. Sincerely speaking, the structure we have is not really good. Somebody like me, if I belong to this generation, I probably will not want to go to school again because I can't see myself waking up. I wake up early now, but I can't see myself as a child with my brain frame waking up that early, and I'm going to struggle through my day like that. And because schools want to make money, they just give us programs that is not really going to hurt to us. Now, in Asia, they have a training, self-actualization. You need to know who you are. You need to get yourself first before you now launch into your surplusity, into your real ventures in life. If you don't, but here they have a reason why they are doing it. The Western will have a reason why they make the program that way and they handed it over to our founders or heroes and all of that. Now we still continuing it. We need to restructure.
Yeah, we do.
We are just killing these children. We're just killing the talents in them. Look, I have met young ones chanting Yoruba poems. Come and see them. Very gifted in Donyo, Abiodun Atiba, even government college here. You need to see them. But there's a way you need to structure this. So, in a nutshell, we need to redesign our curriculum in such a way that is going to give room for them to really grow at their pace. Even if we want to push them or encourage them, sincerely speaking, we can't do better than that. And we're going to have the best of them. You understand? Because
Yes.
I probably would have been stubborn or lawless or disobedient if I belonged to this generation. Because the way I work is different.
True.
I want to do this now. You want me to do that? It's going to be problem, and you feel I'm disobeying you, right?
Yeah, I do feel like schools need to encourage individuality more
Right.
than they are doing currently.
Right.
We're going to take a very quick commercial break. Turn it up. We'll be right back. I know we have a lot more to learn from you, sir. So
Thank you.
please,
Thank you.
our listeners, keep it locked on Oxygen 96.9 FM. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Oxygen 96.9 FM. Of course, this is Tune It Up with DEBOLA, and I have with me in the house a special guest that goes by the name Showumi. Sir, I know you have a passion for going to schools. You do a lot of outreach where you basically, ensure that kids are getting the right kind of education that they need.
Right.
What started this? What brought this on? From being someone who is a creative to basically being an educator, an inspiration to young ones. What brought this on?
Well, thank you so much, Debola. I started years ago. First, I saw that my parents are very accommodative. You see people coming around to our house. They take counsel. My mother being a nurse, people come around. They ask her about health and all of that. So I was watching. Then we have lots of children in the studio. I mean, my own studio, because as far back as that period when I was in secondary school, I rented my own studio, 13 kobo. I got a room, then later I got another one, then I got another one, old building, and I was using that. In fact, I embarked on a project that I did about 40 ceramic works, about 6 feet.
I'm so curious. Before you go on with this answer,
Right,
you
right.
said something about this studio thing. Do you think it's important? Like, how important is it for a young creative to have his own studio?
It's very important. There had never been a period of my life that I never had my studio, even when the way you were, because we saw all sorts. People will just come when you're thriving, when you're setting up the place and the place is looking great. They just want to come and say no. They are evil people, When they come around, we've dealt with them in the past, and they will come. But it's important for you to have a studio because people will be coming there to see your works. There are some works you just put on the floor, you hang there that you feel, they just come and acquire them. You understand? It's important. And to you, too, is a kind of inspiration when you look in the morning and you see your works because there is life in them.
Sure.
Those works. The life you have in you is what you have put into those artworks. You can see my sculptural piece or you see my serious artworks. I love abstract. I started from by going into abstract. Then I came across Picasso. I said, so there's someone in history who's been painting like me, Pablo Picasso. I love that guy, crazy guy. I have a big book on him I'm reading on my table now. So it is important to have a studio, even if you don't have a studio as you're starting or for your children. Just make their room colorful, beautiful. It's a form of studio. My daughter was telling me sometimes, said, Daddy, please let me have that thing. I want to paste it on the wall. It's a kind of arrangement and assemblage of artworks. She drew one or two things. I said, put it on the wall. And she's done it. So it's important when you have expatriates. Years ago, I was with IIT. I was teaching, International Institute of Tropical Agriculture. People don't know where we're coming from. We won't make noise. We are simple. We are not yet there. But look at me in the classroom teaching children from different countries of the world, Israeli, this, that, Burundi. And I'd gotten used to these children. I just loved them. You understand? Beyond that, years ago, this man who is currently supporting us with his NGO now, Dr. Tony Mario, I had his children coming around and all of that, right?
Yeah, go ahead. I wanted you to show the camera, these pictures you're showing us.
Yeah. So you can see me here. Years ago, this should be like 89, 90. I went to exhibit. I went to International School of International ITA, and International House was an exceptional place. They don't allow everybody to go there. So I just went there to do an art exhibition. It was great. I still have the video, the recording. So a man came there, Mr. Jackson. He was the head of the school. So he said, no, Olumide. They call me Shomni. He said, come, you're just good. Your pottery works. He procured one of my big pottery works, 6 feet tall. And then Sketch Newspaper featured the talking pots and all of that. So when he saw it, he just signed me on. He said, come over to the school and begin to teach. And I said, sorry, I can't be coming here every day. Can I be on contract? If it's contract, fine. Then they gave me 2 days out of the week. Then on special days, I appeared, That was about ITA. These are my own programs, studio shows. When I was using Premier Hotel side as my studio, show art center years ago. This one, Dr. Tony Mario's children, all of them, Dr. Wale Okediron's children, Ms. Zalade's children, they are big people now all over the world. They used to attend. So my love for children, my passion for them.
That's where it started.
Yes, dated back to that. You see, this one, this is Bode Showande. He had a studio in, he had a foyer in UI then, outside UI. They call it Odo Themes Meridian. Those are the people that he's not a professor. Those are the people that encouraged us when we started. And I remember him featuring some of my artworks too and all of that. And they give us, pay us for exhibiting and all of that. So we received this kind of encouragement early in life. And this really helped. These are students from University of Ibadan, language arts, years back, coming around to my studio to really see things that I've been doing. This used to be the director of Alliance years ago, Alliance France. So I took part in one of their major exhibitions, Bicentenary Revolution then, and I exhibited and they took my works to France. So this was Olumide, popular girl. These are my days in schools, and I donate books. See me donating even artworks to schools. This CSC Orita Akberi. I donated artworks. I gave them books. I love books, and I like to be known for something. Anywhere I go, I want to give books. I always carry books around. I give. Then when I get to schools, I give cartons. I've had cause to be challenged. Why do you just give books? You're supposed to be selling all of them, making money. Fine. I have an outlet for that. But this particular one, I want to ignite. If I have money, millions today, I'll put books in the hands of all Ibadan, people inhabiting Ibadan, all of that. Right?
People say that Nigerian youths of nowadays, we don't read as much. How do you feel? Do you agree that there used to be more of a reading culture before, and it is
of course
dropping? Of
course. In the days of people like Professor Wale Soyinka, I read and I can see it in their life. People like the Cicero of Africa, the Cicero of SRK, Chief Bola Ige. No, those are people that you just see it. I remember those days when I was young. I want to run and listen to his broadcast. And he would say, Ẹ̀yin ará Ìbàdàn, wọ́n ní ẹ dìbò fún mi, ṣé bẹ́ẹ̀ ni? Then when he speaks English, no. Very articulate, brilliant. Those are the people that inspired us. You understand? And my parents never talked to me about Professor Wole Soyinka. I just loved him from childhood. You see me picking newspaper, sketching him, drawing him, and all of that. So, but today, what we see is terrible. They just pick phones. I still spoke to about 6 of them this week. I spoke to a good number of them on our motivational talk, which is tagged I Will Succeed. What they are doing now is not going to take them far. I'm telling you the truth. I don't know. I'm trying to write a play on what the future is likely to be for them. You know, that kind of thing. Like you have some of this fiction work. They just speak phone. They just, no, sincerely speaking, even the songs they sing. I'm not saying they shouldn't sing the song for the generation, but what exactly are they learning from it? What is it they are tapping from it? You have no business listening to what is not going to add to you. You understand? So when you do that, you know, you will be solid and you become someone that is really outstanding in the society. That's just it.
Yeah, I certainly love your attitude of using art, using literature to reach people. I wish, you know, we had met sooner so you would have blessed me with a book or two, perhaps.
No, it's not late.
It's not
I'm
late.
in the studio today. I'm going to bless Oxygen. I brought for Oxygen. Yeah, I brought for Oxygen.
I love to hear it.
Right.
All right. You know, you mentioned something that kind of struck me. You talked about the future of, you know, this generation. You know, you imagined an apocalyptic future for us.
Something like that. Something like that.
And I find that really interesting, you know, because when you look at the past, you know, one way to predict the future is to look at the past.
Right.
And when you look at the past, I've seen, you know, I've noticed that it's like a loop, it's a cycle.
Right.
There's always some new invention that people think is going to destroy the world.
Right.
And, you know, just because of how much people are embracing that new technology.
Like AI?
No, before we even get to AI, right? I'll get to AI. But before we get to AI, let's
Right.
see, when we first had newspapers,
Right.
people were like, oh my God, everybody's just in their newspapers. They are not socializing anymore.
Right.
Your head is buried in the newspaper.
Right.
Fast forward a few years, we got cell phones, and now, you know, everyone is on their cell phone. And I imagine that's part of the reason why, actually, people have come out to say part of the reason why young people of this generation are not reading is because they're on their cell phones,
Right.
scrolling through TikTok. And it is true, you know, as someone who uses TikTok as well, I know how much time would vanish, you know, in almost the twinkle of an eye. You've spent 3 hours on TikTok without even realizing it. Of course, that is distracting you from the time you could have spent creating something or
Right.
reading a book that could have, you know, educated you. But I want to say that, you know, as much as this technology have their bad side, there's
Right.
also the good side, right?
Yes, of course. I believe that too. Yeah, I'm not saying they shouldn't embrace it. They should. But there is a positive way with which you can handle such. Now, imagine this scenario. A child waking up early, no, not even waking up early in the morning. You have to go and call them out of bed as late as 9. They just feel they have the right to sleep till then. The call works at home. They're not ready to do it. The next thing you see is they are pressing their phones. And you keep wondering, what exactly are they doing? Texting a friend, what's up? Are you okay? Are you well? And all these expressions. Now, I'm not saying they shouldn't catch their phone, but I'm talking about the seriousness. Let me give you an example. I flog with people. I told you a little bit about my background. Time would not permit me to really talk about many things. My friends will come to our house. The first puppet a friend of mine made was on my mother's machine. I encouraged him on sewing machine. I created characters too, to the extent that Dr. Tony Mario saw some of my Teddy works and said, Olumide, what's happening to you? You see him, Dr. Tony Mario, there to encourage you anytime, any day. Years back, he said, come on, let's produce this. My wife is having a store. Produce, let's see. I know you're going to become a millionaire before me. Just fond of that, because if his first set of books, Bobo Lands to Fly, I illustrated them. If these people like this don't see that seriousness in you, they won't get involved. They won't engage you. They've got to see your worth before. Is it somebody? Now look at the child I'm talking about. I just want to give you a scenario. Now, they now force him, get out of bed, or she get out of bed, and then I come And the next thing is they're pressing for, as they're going, they're singing around the house. Listen, and as they're singing around the house, the next thing is we want to eat. And go to the kitchen, go and cook, they begin to grumble. And the next thing you see them do, they're watching films from that time till evening. No, that's the kind of slackness or laxity I'm talking about. Parents should see to that. They should make sure. If I give you another example, a friend of mine used to be the chief bureau of Punch newspaper, this Western region then. Olale Rifagbola is into music and all of that. When Ernest is around, I'll you see him. Those are the people I have. They come to my studio. Importance of studio. They came to my studio then and they saw my board, my notice board. All my publications. I appeared first in the newspaper at the age of 16. Romeo Obika of Punch sketch newspaper with Sata Ahmed. All of them used to feature they come interview me. I had the first one-man exhibition after my secondary school. And I feel the whole of the length of Cultural Center Ibadan with my works, which I did for months. And they came from Lagos. People bought my artwork. So what I tell people is this. Passion is the thing. Those who make noise, those who trouble the society today are lousy people. And there's no way you won't become empty or lousy as a result of just nothing will fall into the mouth of a sleeping spoon. You've got to be up and doing. Like now, it's difficult for anybody to slow my pace. If I've worked with people that will say, no, we need to slow you down. This is too much because I want to make you rise above your vision and move. So, like you said, children of today, they don't read. They don't. People like Lam, I read in his book how they were reading when they were young. I read of Chibola Ige, not to talk of Wale Soyinka, who is my man, that kind of stuff. So I've imbibed that spirit. There's no way you can take it away from me. I want to read. My collections now, I have close to about 3,000 collections. I keep giving books and people wonder. I got loan, I buy books. They say, this guy is crazy. And I have loads of them, which I still want to give out. But I pray people will just come supporting us so that we keep doing it. It's important. Right.
I want to share my own personal story.
Yeah, I'd love to hear that.
When I was really young, I used to get weekly allowance back then.
Right.
And so it was always the split between, so like I'll have enough money to last me through the week as far as like transport, feeding.
Right.
But then there would be like a little change. Maybe the change would be, I don't know. Let's just say the change is 1,000 naira. Right. And with that 1,000 naira, I had the option of either buying a movie, and with that movie, maybe a series. I could watch the series for like 3 days.
Okay.
That's how long the series lasts.
Okay.
Or perhaps I get a collection of movies.
Right.
Collection of movies I saw, maybe 3 days I'm done. But see, I found out that if I buy a book, now with that 1,000 naira, I can buy like 3 books.
Right.
And those 3 books would certainly last me the whole week. So usually the challenge then was, should I buy 3 books or 1 movie?
Right.
And usually, because I found out that over time, the movies finish quicker. It would not last me till the end of the week.
Okay.
When I can re-up and buy a new batch. So I learned that books might be the best way to go. So in that week, I would have read those 3 books. Like if it's the weekend, I buy the book, 3 books. By the next weekend, I have 3 books. I've probably already read the 3.
Okay.
So it's now, if I haven't finished reading it, then I know there's enough time to get a movie to, split the time a bit.
Right.
Otherwise, it's books.
Right.
And, just to let our listeners know that books are just as entertaining as movies, if not even more.
Right.
The only difference between a book and a movie is how long it takes you to get through it. And if you're someone who likes to savor what you're, reading or watching, to enjoy it, you should go with a book, because the book would really the story would feel like you're experiencing it, unlike a movie where you're just watching someone else's vision of the story.
Right. And when you talk about movies, sorry, just to chip in, I love it. I watch a lot of them, but I want to study the cultural link and all of that. Then when I discovered that someone like Professor Wale Soyinka studied comparative literature, I became very interested those days in Asia and America. Then I was comparing. I was doing it on my own. So when you then I want to ask you a question. That period, do you have friends behaving just like you? Sorry, I'm not doing that.
It wasn't something that we were discussing. Even if there was someone else, we didn't know. I didn't know if any of my friends were doing it. Good. We didn't talk about it.
So what we are preaching now, what we are really spreading is, we want them to really come together, to encourage themselves, to discover themselves, and to help those who, the feeble needs, those who are just coming up. You understand? You are just doing it. Possibly Professor Wadishinka was doing it. If you read in his history, then along the line they started in Bari and all of that, and they started. But you still discover that when people are trying to be funny, you want to carve your own. You want to get your own kenta. That's where he lives, and you just want to live your life and do your own thing so that you can win your Nobel Prize and all of that. So good one. I love that.
I want to ask about AI, because we were heading there already, right? And since you already brought it up, let's just get it out of the way.
Right.
A lot of people are worried, especially for artists, writers. They say that AI is stealing our jobs. What is your own opinion on this?
Well, AI is possibly stealing the jobs of the lazy people. If you can really use AI right now, my woman discovered the day before yesterday that AI will tell me, "Babao." That's the way I address me. It will say, "Sir." It will say, that kind of thing. When he respects you, I don't ask him to generate for me. If I want, not for my heart, if I want AI to vet, I would have written everything I want to write. As a matter of fact, if I check it and I notice he's added something that I don't want, I remove it. It's just for proofreading, So there are ways, and there are ways you have to really follow, or you maintain to use AI. But you see, like I said, this generation, in a way, we have hardworking ones among them. We have very serious-minded ones. I've seen that, I've met them, but they are not many. Majority is a thing, and those ones are lazy. They just want to sleep, stretch their legs, and things to fall for them, on their lap. So when you talk about AI, they want to employ AI to do everything for them. You understand? So for those who believe in that, I am not supporting it. But the question I always ask myself, I say, of all people are saying about this AI, what I'm inquisitive about is what exactly is a brain, what exactly is a strength, what exactly the invention itself. That's what I'm after. I want to know, what have they done to be able to achieve this? Under 1 second, something is been done, sent to you, edited, you get it, and all this kind of stuff. So that is the level where I am. If it's possible for me to pieces. In fact, I asked AI one day. He said, "Look, I'm just a programmed device and all that, and whatever you feed into me." And I discovered when I was writing my Yoruba poems, deep ones, like Adebayo Falete, as people have said, equally having the same strength with my English poetry and all of that. I discovered that languages I've been using, words I've been using, Yoruba was with a repertoire of language, everything is been storing it. So after about 6 months, when I send anything, he'll bring it. So we are the ones feeding AI. We are the one loading AI. Find the program AI, and it's been there. So it's just for us to beef up and to really support what we're doing. So it's not for us to,
Yeah, I see it as a tool. I have like I have elderly parents, and my mom is one of those very skeptical about it. She believes she acts as if it's almost like the Antichrist.
Yeah,
like it's evil.
Right.
And I've been trying to tell her that it's just technology. It's like saying you won't use calculator. That's how I see it. Like, you can choose not to, but if you see someone using a calculator, I feel like they have every right to do it because it's available. It makes your work easier.
Why not?
There's no reason not to do it. But for people who make like art, for people who are creatives, right? I have always said that, yes, people would come out and tell you that AI is making amazing art, is writing wonderful, this, that. But you never see anybody who is doing that thing say that AI is making good ones of those things. Like, for instance, people will say AI makes graphic designs that are good, but no good graphic designer will tell you that AI makes graphic designs that are good. And the reason for that is because it doesn't have creativity. It's just templates stuff that is generic.
Right.
Unlike if you are creating it yourself, you'd be able to infuse your own personal experiences that AI most likely doesn't have.
Right.
And I feel like, it's just something that it's just a tool for anybody to use.
Right.
And it just makes life easier, like most tools do typically. We're going to go on a quick break on Tune It Up. We'll be right back with more after this break. Don't go anywhere. Keep it locked on Oxygen 96.9 FM.
Your station, your heartbeat. Oxygen FM 96.9.
Welcome back to Turn It Up with DEBOLA on Oxygen 96.9 FM. And we have with us in the studio Mr. Show Me, the man, the legend, the artist, the poet, the potter. You wear so many hats. I don't know how you do it. I've learned some of the lessons. I know that you have a passion for knowledge. Reading. You clearly you are someone who is a big fan of Wole Soyinka. Before I even ask you my next question, I want to know about this your fan. What's the word? Fanboying of Wole Soyinka. You have a book of poems written with how many poems? Over almost 20.
No,
dedicated
this one is Obama.
Oh, this is the Obama one.
This is
but,
Obama.
But you have one.
I have a trilogy. You have Obama's Bravura, this Unstoppable Democrat, and Cheetah Man. These are the three you have for Obama there. I had this 2009. You understand? I had that 2000. But that Soyinka is over there. Is with you, the brown.
Yes.
Songs for my father figure. Right.
Right. Songs for my father figure.
Yeah,
the
it's my
one
latest-
dedicated to Soyinka. This is your latest
My
book.
22nd publication. Right.
Amazing. 22nd.
Right.
And one thing I really like about this book that you have dedicated to Soyinka is the illustrations in it
Right.
and the artworks. They are so moving, so they are all yours. You illustrated all this by
yes,
yourself.
you have them in oil. You have them in black as a printed material,
Yeah, it's
but I have
black and
them
white.
large, big
Okay.
paintings. I've been doing paintings on him now for close to 30 years. His portrait, everything. I just love him from childhood. Nobody preached him to me. I just loved him, and his spirit has actually ignited me and kept me on. I've been on. And
What's your
he's-
favorite thing about Wole Soyinka? Like, what's that thing about Wole Soyinka that makes him special to you?
everything about him, the way he talks, the way he reasons, the way he reacts to issues and to people, and his history, his background, his story. You understand?
What's your favorite Wole Soyinka work?
Funny enough, you can't believe it. I love Ogun Abibi, man. He
Why
talked
that
about
one?
Thomas Sankara. What?
Why that one? What's so special about?
Yeah, poetry collections. No, all his works are good to me. I just love them. You understand?
That's what I'm asking. Like, what makes that one so special?
He talked. He projected himself more as an activist, as a fighter, and he was talking about the basic problem we have in this country, in Africa in particular, with leaders. And you discover the way Thomas Sankara, all of them were, silenced before time, and these are vibrant leaders. You understand, like what Traore is doing now. Somebody like him, that kind of stuff. So I love the images, the words, the use of language. Now, I've read Abiku, his poetry in the past. I've read Ake, years of my childhood. I've read Voyage Around Voyage Around Ishara and all of that. I've read Ibadan, Penkeleme's Days. I've read The Road. I've read, name them. They're just like that, his works. But the point is that one, not too fat. Brother Jiro, something like Brother Jiro's The Trials of Brother Jiro, that kind of stuff. Sincerely speaking, forget about sentiment. He happened to come from Ake, I'm from Ake. Show me, and all the, not that. My parents, they went to the same school, secondary school, himself and my father. And I remember when his father died, my father took me to Ishara. We went to Ishara, along with my sister, our last born, Bola. She bears Bola like you, the Bola. So we went, and we were there. People had not even arrived, and I saw him moving around the venue, a secondary school. When you're entering Ishara like this, go straight. You face that place alone. And I saw him. He was not having anyone around. He was moving around the venue, the reception, a school field. And I saw him. My father said, let's put this down. Let's go and greet cousin. He calls him cousin. So before you know it, he had disappeared. So not until the program was on, when they were doing the festival and all that, I mean the celebration that we now got to. So I just loved him right from childhood. I was hearing his name on radio. Listen to me. I don't sleep in our house till today. My wife would say, she'll be begging me to go to bed because I don't want to go to bed. I just have some things I mustn't stay till tomorrow. I have them. Even painting, the problem I have. Now I'm manifesting in different areas. I want to write poem. I want to write Yoruba. I want to say, Bàbá àgbà kí ló ní mo ṣe, bàbá àgbà kí ló ní mo ṣe, bàbá lòun ojo mi mú bí ẹ̀yin, bàbá àgbà kí ló ní mo ṣe. We have different things like that. So I can't sleep. And I just want to be. So Wole Soyinka, that spirit, sincerely speaking, when I got to know him more and all of that, I discovered that it's like I have it with him. I don't need to, I'm not ashamed of it. I've met with people who have, in a way, look at me funny because of the attitude they have towards him. I don't give a damn about that. You understand? It's my father figure. That's it.
Fair enough. You did mention, because of your favorite work from Wole Soyinka.
Right.
You mentioned is activism, and you also, as clearly someone who likes Obama as well, and Obama is also someone who has done some social activism. Is that something that you as well are also passionate about? Do you find yourself doing works to speak against, to be an activist?
Right. I have works on such. I have not really come out. Everywhere I am in my association, I speak. I hate cheating. I don't like when people Lego other people on the floor. I don't like it. Why should you tell me that you lack historical perspective within a short time of the way things happen, and you just want to twist the old story? That's my problem with people. And Wole Soyinka said, the man is dead in him who keeps quiet in the face of tyranny. I'm not gonna keep quiet. And I come from Abeokuta, where people don't keep quiet. You just have to speak your peace of mind, even if you're gonna be after me. I don't care about that. So I'm not doing that because he's doing it. I just found it in me. Everything I'm doing is just here. So that's why I pity people who are disturbing us these days, spoiling our name deliberately, and their listeners, those who listen to their, they block us a lot. We're trying to make headway. I do a lot of crazy. I have portraits now. I'm coming up with a style. I announced it a year and a half ago. Poetic portrait painting. You do the painting, the portrait of an individual, then before you know it, when you stand by that painting, you want to know the profession of the person around that artwork and all that. I've done about 30 good works, which I have in my studio now, which I want to begin to showcase from next year by God's grace. Now, we've done few things like that to support Showfest. You know how much we spend every month. Sincerely speaking, we need big companies and all that to be supporting us. But I don't know what's wrong. People don't believe in things like that. They don't want to push.
Let's talk about Showfest.
Right.
What are the challenges that you face, while, bringing this idea to life?
Yeah. I started in my own little way, like I told you, teaching like this. I started impacting from that place. Then later on, I also delve into religion. I went into, apart from my secular certificate and studies, I deliberately went to acquire knowledge. I went to about 3 different Bible schools. Mm-hmm. I sat well under them. I studied. And I love God, the way they introduced God to us here. I love Jesus and all that. And I have my Muslim friends, and I have my traditionalists, and all that. But I keep thinking, the way someone like Professor Wole Soyinka have been showing us, when I read his book, The Cradle of Being and Nothingness, and I look at life, I look at the emptiness and the fickleness of everything that you just have to. So I now look at it that, well, let me reach out. I started Canaan Children program, different programs. This Premier Hotel that they are renovating now, as far back as 1989, I will rent banquet hall and use it for children programs. Call those nursery schools in Ibadan. We used to bring them to the place. They will eat, we'll feed them. So what we are doing with Showfest now is not just starting now. We have some people contending, criticizing, talking. Even in my sleep, I can do a program for Showfest. I mean, in my sleep, when I'm deeply asleep, I want to move around and reach out and talk to children because there's no time left. They are growing. faster than ever before. And we want to make sure that we impact as much as possible for those who will receive. So that's just, that. So by the time I was doing for churches, for schools, for even mosque, I was giving them, I discovered that, you see, children teachers, I developed the habit of giving them storybooks, different things like that. 25 books like on a monthly basis, dashing churches. I discovered that children teachers were just stealing, picking the books and taking them home, not really, keeping them for the children. So I felt, no, how am I going to use this? And I will make sure that let me spread to the outside world. That was how I started Show Fest. You understand me? That was how I started Show Fest. So I know that no spiritual authority is going to say they shouldn't do this or they can take this and all of that. So I made it open and I started, reaching out. But since 1989, I've been going to schools. I call a friend who plays guitar. He will follow me. We'll sing there. I will do the puppet show. I built different characters. I still have them. I would have brought them to the studio for you to see. So right now we're working on a puppet for Educare Trust. I'm doing it. Showfest is doing it. So instead of me coming out to talk about their monthly breast examination, which we've been using in schools, and we've discovered lots of them who are having lumps. We've seen some of them, young ones, you can't believe it. But not all of them are cancerous, not all. But then they have to go for the test. So, it's just part of our package. We have, the motivational talk. We have this one I'm talking about. We're really grateful to Dr. Tony Mario.
The name of the puppet is Dr. Tony Mario.
The name of
the puppet, is it the puppet?
No, the name of the founder of Educare Trust.
Okay.
This is his book. This is Dr. Tony Mario.
Okay.
I'm gonna give this one to Oxygen too as part of the So that was how I just started. Come on, let me reach out to people, and I now discover that lots of them. Then I don't like going seriously to private schools. I go to public schools because I attended public schools. Public schools, yes. My primary to public school. And sincerely speaking, you gain a lot. Most of the imageries I use in my poetry today, they are things I'd seen when I was, words I've heard from them. Low-key guys, don't sorrow, go to rich. So I use them now and people feel I'm thick. What made them thick? That kind of thing. People here now.
Fair enough.
Then as we grew, anyway, we get to that because I wanted to talk about Jim Obi. Let me just.
All right. I know you have a lot of experiences, and that's why we like that you're here. You can share that with us.
Right.
And our listeners, I'm sure we're all learning from your wealth of knowledge. Right. My next question is, and you've kind of already mentioned this, but I just wanted to be more particular. Now, for those of us, for our listeners at home who want to know how they can also scale their careers, perhaps they have flair for drawing, poetry, they sculpt as well, but they don't know how to scale. They don't know how to go from creating to actually being able to make money from it. What would you advise? What steps should they be taking? Should they be reaching out to people? Where should they be reaching out to? What would you recommend?
Yeah, if they are familiar with platforms on their handsets that they lost carrying around, they can spot or get some of them. But then Showfest is here. Educare Trust is there. Educare Trust, they reach out to more than 6,000 students. They've reached out to more than 6,000 students. That's Educare Trust. And we have Showfest too. We've been doing, so if they can reach out to us, we have platforms now that we need to be attending to about 8,700 students who are willing, who are really serious. You won't believe they are in this society. They are. When I went to Biodun Atiba, I keep talking about them. Then a school I went of recent, Adecom, School of Business and Management along Jordan Newtown. We've been doing things together. We've met. They've come around with their programs and all that. But when I got there, I saw talents, raw guys. They are gifted. So immediately I met them. I said, look, I was with Papa Yemi Farumbi. They encouraged us. I used to go on location, recording, in the past. So that's part of it. All these Arilu Agbeleku, all those series I had where I appeared as scenic designer and as costume man. So, and I took part in one or two plays then.
How do we get exposed to these opportunities? Like, you're saying all these things. It's not the easiest thing to just know. You don't just walk into these people's offices.
I'm giving you an example that, like, the outreaches now is making me to meet with them.
Okay.
He's giving me the opportunity. Now, those I've met, I've literally, in fact, a person is calling me now. They said they will join me in the studio today. They should be out there. I've not been able to. Maybe during our break, I'll be able to. So they have a daughter. She's featured in she's brilliant. When we came to Ibadan Boys High School to have the monthly program, about 6 other schools joined them. She came. She won the first prize for writing competition. Now, once you spot such, you don't hold back in giving them every form of link you want to do. That's what we do with Showfest. You understand? Now, I visited Commissioner for Culture and Tourism, Honorable Wasiu Olatubosun. Vibrant man ever since I'd known him, because I was part of Governor Jimobi's political, era the first time. I was very much with some commissioners, and so I saw all that they were doing. And that time, I told him, I said, look, I've seen you as a very bright, vibrant man. You move up and down right from your local government, being a chairman and all of that. So when we got there, I took about 3 or 4 of them to the place. They followed me, and I introduced them to the commissioner. When we went to the Ministry of Education and we met with Honorable Commissioner Shegun Emmanuel Olusegun, I introduced few of them that are with me. I said, please, sir, this is good. This one has published. This one I've published. That is the way. People like Dr. Mario did the same for us. Something like Dr. Bodeshiwande and all of them. So that's just the way. But on our platform, we have the challenge now to be reaching out to nothing less than about 8,600 serious young ones. I'm telling you, that's the next phase of our program. We want to be doing it as if we are with them. That's the only way to really help them. Then when we have people who can sponsor, okay, like Showfest, we have people who will just drop a 20,000, a 10, which we normally use to bring them on board for competition, serious competition. Like the one we have initiated now, which is Christopher Okigbo Prize for Literature, for literature. Because he went to Fidelity and he taught there. And I said, no, let's make sure we have a prize, in his name. And if not for secondary school closure, we would have done it. But we're doing it in September. And once that takes off, it's going to encourage lots of people to want to be writing. You understand?
Sure.
So I hope I've answered you.
Yes.
Right.
And, quite impressive as
Right.
well, as always. We're running out of time, but there's one thing I would really like for you to answer before you leave.
Right.
And that is, for those of us, people like me, who are struggling with lots of different skills, talents,
Right.
and it's hard to choose.
I saw your drawings, lovely ones.
Thank you so much. And it's hard to choose which ones to focus on, because it's sometimes it's distracting when you have a lot of different options to pick from. Like, you don't know whether today you want to make a puppet, or if you want to draw. All these ideas come. How do you decide? How do you manage having a lot of different skills and then picking the one that you want to sort of channel, to develop, to improve, or to just do at all?
Thank you for that question. I think I've answered it in a way, but let me just address it the way you want me to address it now. Let me take myself for an example. At times I pity myself. I look at myself, as much as I come out with lovely artworks and all of that. This morning I was painting elephant before coming to the studio. Big elephant on a canvas of about 12 feet by 7 feet. I was working on that. And I look at myself, the thing coming out, beautiful. And, one of the children came around and said, this is beautiful, Daddy. You want to have this color here. You want to have this. Now, it's not that way. I go back into the room. He's going to tell me again, that word that occurred to you, you mustn't miss it. I quickly jot it down. I'll come back to it. Now, what I will say is this. I am a man of the spirit. That's the way I've been operating. I'm not trying to say it in the context of typical Nigerian church goer or spiritualist. When you reach to your man within, you will know what is next. You understand? As much as they are pouring. I know there's one archive up there. in the celestial realm, we all have our libraries and so if you can tap.
When you feel it, right?
Yeah. If you can tap into that realm when they are coming, and if you mess up, they may not give you some other materials in the rest. So you need to learn and be mature to know how to take stock and how to really record and jot. Because once you miss it, it's going to pain you.
And someone else, I remember I always heard this story of Michael Jackson and Prince. I don't know if you've heard this story about how Michael Jackson used to say that anytime he gets an idea, he always instantly goes and writes it or records it, because it feels like if he doesn't do it, Prince will get the same idea and go and make the song.
Right.
And I think that's really interesting, the way you describe creatives having a spiritual world where they tap into to pick.
You know why I even believe that? I'm not trying to spiritualize things, but you just look. I was reading the first poetry series that really inspired me in writing. Happened to be from a disabled, Alexandra Pope.
Yeah.
The particular poem that really taught me was the rape of the wedlock. Very long, straight stuff. I was just reading it and reading it and reading it and reading it and reading it. Then later, John Milton. When I read John Milton's works, I felt no. Then you talk about Andel, you talk about the Messiah song and how they received it and how they are just in the room for long, and some of them even went blind as a result of just, that kind of seclusion. So I look at it, I felt, wow. So what's going to happen? So what I believe is that if you deal with your spirit man, you are not going to regret, because you are in touch. You know what is next. It will surprise you. Some works I did, let me tell you, some works I did about 25 years ago when my friends were playing around. I bought those papers, sugar papers, with my money. I got pen, I was scribbling, doing all that, and I kept them. Do you know that some of them are the ones I am selling now, apart from the latest ones? I did them then. But some people just say, no, I love this, I want this. I've seen somebody, a white woman that came, even Dr. Tony Mario's mother. She's late now, I think. When she came to Nigeria, she visited my studio. She came and procured close to about 20 of my pen and ink works. Same thing with Doctor. So just do it. It's going to pay. The day is coming. Just do it as it comes, and it's going to answer for another day.
And how about those who they feel inferior about their work? Like, not that they don't know that the work is good or not. They just feel that maybe they're insecure about their medium. Say, for instance, they've seen that people celebrate poems, and people celebrate books, people celebrate illustrations, maybe oil painting,
right.
But they are used to doing pencil on paper.
Okay.
And they feel that's not good enough. What's your advice to people like that?
No, pencil on paper can be as expensive as oil paint on canvas. It depends. It depends. I had a story of a man in America. I can't remember his name now. One big brother was talking to me about him. One Prince Odunlade, the owner of Tunde Odunlade Art Gallery, we were together sometime, and he was telling me, said, this man was just picking junks like you would think of a roadside crazy person in Nigeria, and just cleaning, putting it together, and all of that. And he had loads of that where he was living, the swampy area, damp. And a man was driving one day along one express, and he saw a signpost which this man made just from a wood. He wrote it raw, and he just pasted it on the wall, directing anyone to his studio. Studio again is important. Unfortunately, when the man got there, he was inquiring. He now saw loads of such things done, and he said, "Who owns these works?" And nobody to answer. And I think he called and shouted, and a woman came. And he said, "Sorry, you are the wife?" He said, "Yes." "Sorry, the man who is not around. Okay, have my complimentary card, give it to him, ask him to call me." Do you know the man said for almost 2 years, he did not hear from the man. He now went back. I wouldn't know whether she's a typical Nigerian woman whose husband had wronged her. She'd never handed the complimentary card to the man. So when the man got there, now met the man, and the woman came and just brought it from the ceiling side and brought the card out. And look at what happened. The man's story turned around that very moment. When the man came, what he used to sell for $20, I think the man bought each of them for like $2,000.
Wow.
And he did not just buy one, he bought close to about 100. In fact, the man relocated. He now began to live among who is who.
Yeah.
You know, where he belongs. So what I'm trying to say in response to your don't feel low about your medium. If you want to learn about another medium, go ahead. I don't do all this because I'm thinking of I can make more money. I just want to express myself. You understand? There are certain things I can't express in pen and ink. My strength is in my oil painting. There are some other things I can't do. I want to do it in my poetry. If I want to tongue lash those who are terrible
leaders,
leaders and association members, I will just come up with strong words, which I won't abuse them. I just want to paint the picture as it is, but in the strongest words, projecting it like Funke Akindele or Afolayan will come in their movie, or to do. So it's just like that. So no medium is cheap. It depends. If somebody who's a multimillionaire comes and acquire your charcoal work today, ordinary paper, you understand? If he says I'm buying one for for 5 million, from then you won't be selling. That man is not selling below. Is not selling to $20 again. He's now selling at the level the man has presented him to the world. So that's just it. So we just need to really package ourselves and really.
We're running out of time on this program. I have one final question.
Okay.
This is just for my own pleasure, right? If you could only pick one art form, and I'm just asking you this to throw a ledge in your wheel.
Right.
If you could only pick one medium for the rest of your life, you had to stick with just one out of all of your many skills and talent.
Right.
Which one would you pick?
Of recent, I listened to my father figure being interviewed, and he said, I had opportunity of becoming many things, but I found it funny that I had to end up with one. You listen to that. I ended up with one. Now, the problem I have is this. I'm committed to all the arms of art that I do. I'm passionate about them. I like my friends of old, I keep them till date, regardless of their weaknesses and their faults. That is one thing about me. Friends are friends. I will talk to you behind the scene and all that, but my arts are my friends. Art is my art is my life. My life is my art. So I can't part with any of them. Right. Sincerely speaking, I wake up in the morning, I feel like welding. I feel like playing with iron. I want to bend it. I want to roll it. I want to bring a form out. You understand? I want to coil it around. Some other times it's color I want to play with. That some other times it's just words. Oh my God, words and words. So if I'm to pick one, I don't know. But of recent, when I visited Nigerian Immigration Service Command Base, they are one of the best set of people I've met. Come and see them with their training and everything. They stood. I was in the conference room talking to them like this. In fact, we have a lot to do together. We have a lineup. I told them that I am considering it. If there is another life, I'm not going to throw away my brush. I'm not going to throw away my palette. I'm going to continue to sculpt and weld. I'm going to be writing poetry. But one thing I'm going to be, maybe I'll be a uniformed practitioner. And I will want to join immigration because I just love their spirit. I just love them. They are so receptive. They are so wonderful. No. They are so accommodating. I'm saying it. I'm sorry. They are just, in fact, I've not seen any set of body that I've visited that I've really, treated. Not that they give me money. No. Wow. And because of that, I have told them we are starting a library and they've embraced it. And we're going to have lots of artistic things that is going to come on board. That's what I like. My first publication of poetry, just to round up what you have asked me, I did it on Archbishop Benson Idahosa, now religious, 1991. The title, Finest Fire. He saw it in 1989 because I went for a convention, The Power of Faith. I can't forget. That convention was like for me. And everybody celebrated with me because Archbishop came, laid his hands and prayed for me. And I did series of painting. I'm used to that. I'll just get money and do it. Real risk.
I've spoken to other artists. This is how all artists are crazy like that.
Real risk.
They
Let me tell you
money on art
Let me tell you the worst one I've done. Look at that Obama series. Yeah. Do you know I took a loan? Wow. And they had my landed property and they twisted the story Until today, they don't want to leave it. We have it in court.
Wow.
We have the matter in court. I was fine. The zeal of my literary world had eaten me up. So I published the first one, Obama's Bravura, from my post. To make it up, I had to say, let me borrow money. And they just changed the game. And when I went to Bishop Benson's house, I did a series. He said, how much did you use for this works? Then I said, 50,000 naira. He said they should add 10 to it. And the Reverend Akindele, the convention chairman of that year, just paid me the money right away. But before I left, I started giving money out to some of the people who were in the convention together. I was almost not having money to return to Ibadan. But my job was, I came up with this book, Finest Fire, and that was the beginning of my writing and publication.
Wow.
You understand?
That's your first book.
Yeah, that was my first book, Finest Fire.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you've had it here first on Oxygen 96.9 FM. Our guest for today, Olumide Showomi, the poet, the potter, the painter, sculptor, singer. So before you leave, you can do like a quick freestyle, a quick rendition for us.
Okay, I'll do that. I won't do my own song. Let me do one of the ones I love. And that one has to do with character. Because today, we belong to associations and organizations where people just feel the best people cannot be. Let's just put anybody we want there. And you see the organizations are suffering. That's why we cannot see all these young talents discovered. It takes someone who is passionate to reach out and really fish all these ones out and be there to nurture them. That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about sentiments here. And I see this. You talk about challenges the other time, we've not been able to touch it, maybe another time. But I will sing this song, and it has to do with character. It's a song I sang with K12 voices when they have stopped singing, Poppy and all of that. But I love it. It has to do with Iwa. Iwa maloju ara mi o, ye o tọ́jú ìwà rẹ̀. Ìwà maloju ara mi o, ye o tọ́jú ìwà rẹ̀. Bó lówó lọ́wọ́, bó bímọ lè mọ́, tó kọ́lé mọ́lé, tó tún lára jù ká wọ́n lọ. Rántí pé ìwà máa lójú o. Ẹ ṣayé rẹ.
Oh, wow. No, listen, like before you go, let me just real quickly. Let's just have one round of applause for you, sir.
Thank you, my brother.
Thank you so much for gracing us.
I love Oxygen
with your
FM. I love it. It's
Take
good.
care. Thank you
Right,
so
thank you
much.
so
Yeah,
much for everything.
you've had it there. You know, from art to reaching schools to using his voice to move people. There's nothing that Olumide Showomi cannot do. Thank you so much for being a part of
It's a pleasure. But I want the presentation to be on here. Please, I want to donate this to Oxygen FM. This one. And all the series I've brought to you. Songs for My Father Figure.
Wow, this is a lot of
Songs for My Father Figure. And the trilogy on Obama. Something is coming up next year on that trilogy. We're going to involve all the secondary schools. They're going to do serious competition on the 3 books. Obama's Bravura, this Unstoppable Democrat, and Cheetahman. So I'm giving all this, I'm giving all this to the studio, and definitely more will come. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you, my brother.
We hope to see you again soon.
Right.
All right.
Right.
Ignition Lab, tune it up with DEBOLA Abimbalu has come to an end. Have a lovely afternoon. Keep it locked on Oxygen 96.9 FM. We have more fun and entertaining programs coming your way.
Your station, your heartbeat. Oxygen